welcome to the Cast-Off. This is the #1 recasting show on the internet where two contestants compete by recasting favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price, and welcome. Tonight, we're going to take Alien Invasion with as little seriousness as possible as we do Tim Burton's Mars Attacks, a movie I still have never seen. So, even after this. So tonight, we've got two great challengers from Everything I Learned from Movies, Steve Kondrick, and filmmaker and YouTuber Tami Anderson. All right. Steve, I have not seen you in a long time. How have you been?
Been good. Just, talking about bad and questionable movies on all the major podcatchers. You know how it is.
So what's been going on with in April? You've got a very special whole month that you've done to your third year in a row, I believe.
Oh, it's the best time of year. We'll be celebrating April. We'll be talking about some great ape-related movies like King Kong Lives, Conga, Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla, Link, Shakma. It's going to be great. Come join us.
It's the Bela Lugosi one that's really going to throw me. He meets a Brooklyn Gorilla, which is different because we know the native Brooklyn Gorilla is totally different than what you're expecting.
Indeed, especially the knockoff, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. They had a little punch too.
Okay. And Tami, how are you? You've been taking some time off from YouTubing, but you're going to be doing that very soon. What's your spring going to look like?
I am finishing up getting all moved in, my new backdrop, you can see. And
very intellectual.
Yeah. And I've got getting some scripts written, and I'm looking forward to getting back to recording. It's very exciting stuff.
Well, we're glad you're back, and let's get to the rules because we do have a game to get through. The rules have not changed. We're going to show you a character, and you are going to give me an alternate actor. The best choice decided by our judges gets 1 point. I have also chosen, and I did this before you guys did, so if you happen to pick my secret selection, you get a point. Sometimes the best choice is my secret selection because it should be, and that you can get 2 points. So if you feel yourself getting behind, there are ways of getting back if you can sync up psychically with me, which I do not recommend. Person with the most points wins, and if there is a tie, we will double feature to win. As always, this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and the entire month of March we have celebrated the genius of Mel Brooks, and so be sure to listen to our latest episode, Spaceballs, the podcast. You can go over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe, where you can join the feed, and you can hear the audio version of this podcast with the post-game show exclusively on Cast-Off every Thursday in the Matinee Heroes feed. And while you're there, head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff so you can subscribe to the video feed and join us on YouTube as well. So are you guys ready to act for the next 30 minutes or so?
Yes.
If I hear that again, I will deduct a point. So that was the only time. All right. We have flipped the coin, and Steve, you have won the coin, the toss. So we are going to start off with, man, this guy. Imagine this guy being the actual president of the United States, Jack Nicholson as James Dale, and also he plays a real estate developer, Art Land. So a president real estate developer sounds like a real winner. Steve, who do you have playing the president / real estate developer, who are two separate people, by the way?
Oh, indeed. Yeah, two separate roles. So we need an actor with great range that can do both convincingly, as they've probably done in other movies. But I went with James Garner of My Fellow Americans and Rockford Files, and he has the range to be an incredible president and a sleazy real estate guy. I mean, look at the outfit.
Well, that's not his fault. It's the 60s and 70s right there. But yes, James Garner is the handsome maverick. This is not the first time you've chosen James Garner in a cast-off. So it was easy to find this picture in this whole thing here. So The Great Escape, Victor Victoria, which we have covered here on Matinee Heroes, but we also have him in Tank, which I'm surprised Everything I Learned from Movies has not done yet.
Oh, we're waiting for Matinee Heroes so we can come guest on that.
Oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that on your show. Maverick, which was actually surprisingly a good movie. And I had an opportunity to meet him and missed him by 2 days when Space Cowboys premiered at the Museum of Modern Art. So I did get to meet Clint Eastwood because of Space Cowboys, but I did not attend and meet everybody else. So James Garner, great choice. Tami, who do you have that can go up against an all-timer like James Garner?
Oh, James Garner is a fabulous pick. I was going for someone who could really play sleaze. And I figured if they could really play the sleaze part, then they would be great for the president as well. So that tells you something about how I think about presidents. Anyway, I went with the fabulous Michael Rooker.
Oh, absolutely. He's Mary Poppins, y'all. And he's been in Tombstone, Guardians of the Galaxy, Days of Thunder, which we've all covered here on Matinee Heroes. But he was also in Eight Men's Out. He was in the new Suicide Squad. He ate a pretzel that was covered in dog poop and mall rats. So, he will do anything. That is Michael Rooker. Very nice
also
guy.
gives really good hugs. I met him at FanX a couple of years ago, and I actually got to talk to him for like 15 minutes. He was fantastic.
He's a wonderful guy. I've met him several times. Very nice man. You'd think he's going to be this tough, mean guy. Not at all. He's a sweetheart.
No. Yeah.
So we have James Garner, Michael Rooker. The judges went and decided James Garner. So Steve gets the first point.
He's on the board.
He's on the board. I went with Eugene Levy. I think he can play all of that very well, and you might start to see a theme develop with my list. Well, next we have First Lady Marcia Dale, played by the great Glenn Close. So, Tami, who do you have playing? I guess she's always afraid of the Martians, so that's why her face looks like she's scared to death. Who do you have playing the First Lady?
I wanted somebody who is just completely over the top and can play and has that amazingly stunned look in one of my favorite holiday films, Home Alone, and I went with Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, yes, absolutely. She is known for eccentric mothers, as she was in Home Alone, as you said. She was also in Beetlejuice, Best in Show, and lately her great Schitt's Creek, which is fantastic. She kind of reminds me of my mother-in-law in that movie, in that show. She's very funny. So, Steve, who do you have to go up against the great Catherine O'Hara?
Well, of course, I had to go with an actress who just a strong first lady presence that we've actually seen in other movies as well. And also kind of an in-joke that she's the one afraid of the aliens. I went with Madame Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, yes. Sigourney Weaver, known for being a badass alien killer, which, yes, goes against type, which I see what you're doing there. She was in the Aliens movies, the Ghostbusters, Galaxy Quest, Working Girl, and The Cabin in the Woods, which means I should start doing this and giving you extra points, but every single one of the movies that we picked here, she has been in. We have her on Matinee Heroes. So
Matinee Heroes All-Star, you might say.
That's right. Of course she is. She's a true matinee hero. She's wonderful. And we got to see her in Houston when she came for Comapalooza. She is one of those timeless ladies that I don't think she's ever going to age. So we have Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara. I got to make sure I say that right. Sigourney Weaver. The judges conferred, and Catherine O'Hara gets the point.
Yay!
I also picked Catherine O'Hara, which means that Tami gets an additional point. And if you can see the Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara connection, you can start to see that maybe there might be a theme. Well, next we get Annette Bening playing a hippie drunk, which is always a unique one, a hippy-dippy drunk Barbara Land, who's obviously the wife of the President Art. So, Steve, who do you have playing the hippy-dippy? The one who thinks she belongs because of some weird calling.
I also kind of went against cast. I picked the lovely Michelle Pfeiffer to be a little hippy-dippy and, see what she does with it.
Oh, absolutely, because everything she does, she's super classy, but yet she feels like she's someone you could be approachable and you like, which is a hard combo to do, because when someone's classy, sometimes they feel a little bit elite, but not her. She's wonderful in Batman Returns, Scarface. I think most boys my age fell in love with her in Lady Hawk, and if they didn't, they certainly did after the Fabulous Baker Boys. And, of course, Dangerous Minds. All right. So, Tami, who do you have to beat Michelle Pfeiffer?
I went with somebody who has already kind of played a sort of hippy-dippy alien, at least in an SNL skit, and I went with Kate McKinnon.
Yeah, the thing I like about her with Alien is when she gets abducted and she talks about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she is a SNL superstar, known for Ghostbusters. She was in Finding Dory, The Spy Who Dumped Me, Bombshell. She's going to be in the new, and I'm sure Steve can't wait for this, the new Tiger King movie that she is in with the guy who played Hedwig the Angry Inch. I can't remember his name right now. John Mitchell. Something.
John Cameron Mitchell.
John Cameron Mitchell.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So we have Michelle Pfeiffer, Kate McKinnon. The judges talked it over. Michelle Pfeiffer gets the win.
Ooh.
Yes, a very fine pick. I went with Jennifer Coolidge because I love her. She's super funny, and at any age she could be. She can be the hippy dippy. She can also be the bored housewife. She can do anything, and be hilarious. Oh, now we get to the most handsome of handsome. Pierce Brosnan as Professor Donald Kessler, and I guess he loses his head in this movie, and I won't explain that, but he really has a weird scene with him and Sarah Jessica Parker, but he is the guy who thinks that aliens are here to help us and is completely wrong. So, Tami, who do you have replacing James Bond's Pierce Brosnan?
I went with somebody who, to me, just embodies the weird and just is so unique in every single one of his roles, and I went with Willem Dafoe.
Yes, Willem Dafoe, absolutely. Known for being creepy AF, because everything he does is creepy. He's creepy in the Spider-Man movies. He's super creepy in Boondock Saints. He is supposed to be super creepy in Shadow the Vampire, but he's, John Carter. He was an alien, so he wasn't that creepy. But in Nightmare Alley, once again, super creepy. I've met him, nice guy. It's just that he does play creepy guys. Little known fact: he auditioned and almost was the first Batman. And you'd think he'd be the Joker, but no, he was going to be Michael Keaton's replacement as the Batman. Huh. So now we've got Steve. Steve, who do you going to go? Willem Dafoe.
Well, of course, to replace Pierce Brosnan, as mentioned, you got to go with someone that's class, sophistication. Just an incredible actor, Academy Award winner, of course, Nicolas Cage.
If Steve is on the show, Nicolas Cage will be as well. He's known as being crazy AF. He's great in the movie Pig, if you haven't seen that one, where he's not as crazy as everyone thinks he is. He's actually toned down. But you have vintage Nicolas Cage in Face Off, Raising Arizona, Kick-Ass, Into the Spider-Verse. Your favorite Nicolas Cage?
Vampire's Kiss, but like specifically for this role, I'm looking for like a national treasure kind of Nicolas Cage.
Well, he is a national treasure, so that's a given. So we have Willem Dafoe, national treasure, Nicolas Cage. You got to give it to the Cage.
Yeah.
So Steve takes the lead 3-2. I went with Christopher Guest. I think he's got the right thing of nerdiness and absurdity, so I think he would have done a great job. Now we get to Danny DeVito, who gets he gets the moniker Rude Gambler. He doesn't even get a name. He's just the Rude Gambler. So, Steve, who do you have playing the Rude Gambler who tries to buy his life with a Rolex?
Well, I mean, Danny DeVito is the perfect choice for that role. I'm not going to lie. Being a huge fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for the last 15 years. But I went with possibly the original Rude Gambler, Burgess Meredith.
Oh, yes, absolutely. He's one of the greatest actors of all time, and I think the people who only know him from Rocky movies and Grumpy Old Men don't understand that he was such a huge talent when he was younger in Of Mice and Men, and, of course, the original Penguin, but before that, he was just in everything, and he was magnificent.
And his cameo in Santa Claus the movie.
What was he doing in Santa Claus the movie?
He was like a 1,000-year-old elf that bestowed Santa Claus with his powers in one scene. It's a weird movie, guys. Check it out. It would have been even weirder if it were directed by John Carpenter like it was originally going to be.
Women weaken legs. That's for you, Santa Claus. Women.
Oh, yeah, that was in the movie too. Yeah.
He was great as Mickey, though. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Tami, who do you have to go up against Burgess Meredith, who's one of the all-timers?
I wanted somebody who I thought could, be super tough and has that tough reputation, but has that heart of gold. And it was I thought it would be good if it was a Danny versus Danny, so I went with Danny Trejo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny Trejo, absolutely. He's known for the most on-screen deaths in cinema history. He's been killed
wow.
more times. He was in Heat, Machete Kills, From Dusk Till Dawn, Spy Kids, and Muppets Most Wanted. But even though we don't have him as a sponsor of the show, if you ever get to Los Angeles, go to Trejo's Tacos in Hollywood. Man, are they good. Yeah, he that's a great restaurant. He's got a great little spot. Met him last year. My wife and I had drinks with him for a little bit. He was
nice.
several times at the Hilton in Houston. He's short and funny. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I met him when I got to work on The Crow Part 4 eons ago, and he came up and was helping all of the lowly PAs, and was spraying bug spray on them. And he gave me a hug. I was like, oh, I was a lowly PA. He's the actor. I will let him go first in craft services. And he's like, no. And he made sure that I got fed too. So
that's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And he's one of the few people that shows you that even if they had a rough start, you can redeem yourself and you can turn your life around. And he has done a tremendous job of taking advantage of every opportunity he's given and giving back every opportunity he can.
Absolutely.
So we love Danny Trejo here, and we've got Burgess Meredith, Danny Trejo, and that love just goes on and on. And so you have tied the game, Tami, with Danny Trejo.
Hey.
I went with Larry Miller. Great comedian, funny guy. So I thought he'd be great as the guy who is just a weasel, because Larry plays great weasels of all time.
Yes, he's fantastic.
Well,
love him in Princess Diaries.
Oh, well now we get with press secretary Jerry Ross, who's played by the dashing Michael J. Fox. So we'll start with you, Steve. Oh no, we'll start with you, Tami. Tami, who do you have playing the press secretary who brings a prostitute into the White House who turns out to be an alien?
I wanted somebody who could play, really schemy and weirdly sexy, and I went with Jonathan Groff.
Yes, Jonathan Groff, known for spitting while singing. Oh, if you watch that Hamilton, good God, whenever he comes on, just stay away, because he is just spitting and frothing, and it's gross. But he's also the new agent in the Matrix Resurrection. He was in Frozen. I really liked him in Mindhunter, which I hear might be coming back on Netflix. Very good movie. And American Sniper. He hasn't been in a lot of stuff yet, but he's just new on the scene. He will be doing quite well for a long time.
Yeah. So,
Steve, who do you have to go up against King George?
Hamilton himself? No. No, I that was the Martin Short role. I know you haven't seen the movie, but I think it was Martin Short who brings the prostitute back and is the press secretary, right?
I thought Jeffrey Ross was okay. Maybe I have it wrong. Go ahead.
No,
continue.
But still, this actor would be great for both roles. Actually, he's played multiple roles in many wonderful movies, and I went with all-timer Peter Sellers.
Peter, absolutely. Yeah, we got Master of Disguise. He's in the Pink Panther movies, Dr. Strangelove. He was in the very first James Bond movie, Casino Royale.
Yeah.
But then again, he was also in Lolita, which is a very dramatic role with Stanley Kubrick. And then one of my favorite satires, The Mouse That Roared, where they conspire to go to war against America so they can lose and get reparations like they did for Germany. So we've got Jonathan Groff, Peter Sellers, and Jonathan Groff, the newcomer, gets the win.
Ooh.
And Tami, you are up 1 point, so it's 4-3. There we go.
Ooh.
I went with John Michael Higgins because I think he makes a great press secretary, anchorman, whatever you want. He's a very funny guy. Well, finally, we get to the talk show host and famous doghead, Natalie Lake, played by, I wouldn't call her a doghead, but Sarah Jessica Parker. So, Steve, you're down by a point. Here's your chance to get back. Who do you have playing the talk show host that then gets her head attached to that poor chihuahua?
Well, I had to pull out the big guns for this one because, I mean, Academy Award nominee, and because I have Nicolas Cage in the professor role, that wonderful scene with their heads, well, you'll find out the one I'm talking about if you ever watch this movie. I went with Elizabeth Shue.
Well, of
Kind
course.
of a Leaving Las Vegas reunion.
Of course you did, because everybody loves Elizabeth Shue. She's the 80s
Right.
it girl for Karate Kid, Adventures in Babysitting, Cocktail. Replaced that poor girl from Back to the Future for Back to the Future 2 and 3, and then was killing it in CSI and now on The Boys.
Yeah.
So Tami, this is your chance to make sure that Steve does not get any points and does not win. So who do you have to block Elizabeth Shue?
I wanted somebody who has wide range but can also play ridiculously flighty. And I went with my favorite 80s it girl, Drew Barrymore.
Well, she was an it girl in a different way because she was a little too young to be an it girl in the
Little
80s.
girl.
Yeah, she was a tiny little girl. So if she was,
90s then.
yeah, she was a 90s it girl. I will definitely give you that. But she was the youngest host of SNL at 7 years old. She is a talk show host now, so that makes perfect sense. E.T., Firestarter, Charlie's Angels. So we go to Elizabeth Shue, Drew Barrymore. So Steve, right now you're down a point.
Yep.
If I picked Elizabeth Shue, you win
Ooh.
because you'll because right now it looks like I went with Parker Posey, so that's not going to happen. So we will definitely not have a tie. So no matter what, I mean, we could have a tie. I'm sorry. We will definitely. There's a possibility of a tie. So if I picked Elizabeth Shue, or if the judges picked Elizabeth Shue, you're good to go. But if Tami, they picked Drew Barrymore, you win. But before we get to that answer, please, everybody, we've been stuck at 77 subscribers for weeks now. I appreciate all 77 of you, even the 57 of you that are robots. But please sign up so we can get our custom URL so I don't have to keep sending people to matineeheroes/castoff. I can just send you to YouTube. But back to the show and the big dramatic conclusion, possibly, or we could be going into overtime for the first time in quite a long time and going to our double feature. Elizabeth Shue, Drew Barrymore. The judges really didn't fight over this one at all, and they went with Drew Barrymore. And Tami, you are today's winner. So,
Yay, that's exciting.
So
it's my first win.
yeah, so you get today's final thought.
Yay. Oh, final thoughts. Be safe when you're out writing or playing or doing anything like that because, safety, if you don't, it hurts. And, have fun. And check out my YouTube channel, The World According to Tami.
Absolutely. So we do have a season still ahead. This is all we're just starting the first half of the season. We still have plenty more to go. And next week we are having some two podcasters from the improvisation. Oh, it's going to be muted for me. No music today. From the improvisational movie podcast In a World, Avish Parashar and his co-host Michael Worth recast the animated classic that's not animated, Dick Tracy. So they will be having to do that one and there's a lot of people under a lot of latex in Dick Tracy. You want to be a contestant? You can apply at matineeheroes.com/castoff/application, or you can just email mhcastoff.com mhcastoff@gmail.com, and I will send you the link to the application. There's several people who have been on. Sam Matos, one of our more famous winners who've been on the show quite a bit. But you can apply through there. We're also on the Castoff Show on Twitter. We have a Facebook group /matineeheroes, matineeheroes.com/castoff to get to our video feeds that include twitch.tv/matineeheroes. So, in behalf of our winner tonight, oh, wait a minute, I still have to talk about our judges. Elizabeth Rapp and Brendan Agnew, our go-to co-hosts, judged, and so they were part of the trifecta. And so if you have any problems with how things went, you can't just yell at me. We have two different people.
Already on Twitter.
Yes, already. On behalf, please don't put it on. This is a month in advance. We record in advance now, so don't spoil it. On behalf of Steve Kondrick and today's winner, Tami Anderson, that's the Cast Off. We will see you next week.